Hi, welcome back to Ceci Reads. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who subscribed, liked, and commented on my first video. I was so nervous, I still am, but thank you everyone. So today, I'm gonna get into basically what I read for Thrillerathon. Now this was my first year ever like joining Thrillerathon or even like doing anything that like kind of involves like community with BookTube. I just started BookTube like kind of recently, like watching it, and I never really joined in any kind of like the readathons or anything. So I just have a list here for like what books I read and what order I read it. So for Thrillerathon, I had no idea what I wanted to read. I kind of just like really just pulled it out of nowhere, and I just ran to the library real fast and just basically picked up the ones that was already on my TBR and books that I already had at home. But yeah, so the first book I did actually read was The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, I'm sorry, I already know I'm butchering that, but I did give the book 4 stars. I heard a lot of like kind of just different reviews, I guess you should say, like just basically just people saying it was good, other people saying it was predictable. They did not enjoy the twist. I'm not going to spoil anyone, but I did know what was going to go and like what was going to happen. And The Silent Patient follows a woman who shoots her husband in the head and then never speaks again. And so it follows that woman a couple years later, and a man comes in and so he becomes her psychiatrist, and he wants to figure out why she did that and all the questions that everybody is wondering. Sorry, a plane went by, but so yeah, I did enjoy the book still like enough to go ahead and give it 4 stars. I enjoyed like, okay, so I did not enjoy the first half. Like it was kind of just really boring, honestly. And I was listening to it on audiobook, but I do love listening to audiobooks. I do love like the voice and the voices that were like playing both characters. That was really awesome to me, but it sounded great. But then the second half of the book, it just hit me and I just really started enjoying it more. The twist at the end, it was okay. Like I knew it was kind of just gonna happen, but it was still good, and I did still enjoy it, so I gave the book 4 stars. And that would have taken off for me. Let me just make sure I'm just saying it correct. Yeah, so I used that for Sergeant Mustard, the thriller with the creepiest cover, and the newest thriller on my TBR. Now I wasn't sure how many books I was going to actually end up reading. I did put a different book for each slot except for The Silent Patient. I did not read them all, but it was still really enjoyable, of course. But now Karen Slaughter, she writes very graphic death scenes. She writes very gruesome scenes. A lot of her books do have a lot of like depictions of rape, violence, murder, obviously, a lot of different just a lot of different scenarios. If you don't think you can handle that, then I honestly suggest not reading it. Just want to keep that in mind for people who are squeamish and just cannot handle that type of thing. But the book was amazing, and I love the way Karen Slaughter writes, and her characters are so good. So good. And I have the second one right now and I am currently reading it. I love it. But it's amazing. So it's really good. Okay, so Blindsided by Karen Slaughter covered The Dagger, the author you've read before. So the next book I did read was Disclaimer by Renee Knight. This book was good, kind of. Like it was half and half for me. I was kind of confused most of the time I was reading this. I did listen to an audiobook, that could be why. Usually whenever I read or I listen to audiobooks, I kind of just have both the book and the audiobook going at the same time for just a little bit in the beginning so that I can understand and get to know the characters. But I did not do that with this one. That could be why. There was a lot of time period switching and etc. But anyway, this book is about a woman who ends up, she just takes a shower, she's getting ready for bed next to her husband, and she sees a book on the nightstand called The Perfect Stranger. So she opens it and starts reading it, and then she realizes that this book is about an event that happened a long time ago, and something that she doesn't want her husband to know, her kid to know, no one to know. A very traumatic event that happened. It was good. I gave it 4 stars. I almost want to give it 3 stars because I wasn't really like into it, but the ending kind of just, it really did get to me, so that's why I did give it 4 stars. It is good still. I do recommend it. Now this one did cover for the kitchen, a trope you love. I can't remember what I was trying to use for the trope, but so the next book I picked up was The Other People by C.J. Tudor. Now I did originally pick this up on my Kindle, but I also did read it book form also at the same time, both back and forth. I did end up picking up this book for the Literally Dead book club that Lala from Books and Lala is hosting. And so I did put this into my Thrillerathon so that it can do, like, you know, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I love this book so much. It was so good. So this guy is driving home one night and he sees a car in front of him. And a little girl's head peeks out from the back and he's all like, why isn't she wearing a seatbelt? And then he realizes that it is his daughter. And this book starts 3 years later. His daughter is missing and he never sees her again. And so now this follows him trying to be able to go and find out where his daughter is. He drives up and down the freeway every night for 3 years, and he's desperately trying to find the person who took his daughter. But yeah, this book was really good and I highly recommend it. This book did go for the study. I recommended thriller, and so that's what I did this book for. 5 stars. I love this. So the next book I did read was The Moon of the Crusted Snow. I cannot pronounce the author's first name, but last name is Rice. But this book was so good. I read this on audio, and I also did just hand read it. It's a really short book, but it is completely worth it. My grandma is actually currently reading it. It is kind of a little bit of a thriller. I don't really consider this a thriller, honestly, but it's very good, and I love apocalyptic books. And it follows a family and a smaller community as the power goes down. So some of them are actually really good with hunting and they fish and all of that, and then another half of them just sits at home and plays video games all day, and so they don't have everything prepared for winter. It kind of has that feeling of a very warm family book. I don't know, it's really sweet, and it has a lot of good emotional moments. I did tear up at the end because I loved this book. It was really good. I gave this book 4 stars, only because I did guess, like, what there was a little bit of a twist at the end, and I did guess it. But I really enjoyed this book. Take cover for Professor Scarlet, shortest thriller on your TBR. And so the last book of my Thrillerathon was the group book, which was Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Now this book follows a man named Jason who ends up having a man come up to him and say, are you happy with your life? And after that he gets knocked unconscious and he wakes up surrounded by a bunch of people who are wearing hazmat suits, and he's just like, what's happening? Pretty much. This book I kind of hated. Like, I kind of didn't. I listened to like half on audio and half of physically read. There was something that I just didn't like. I'm really bad at explaining like what I really didn't like about this, but this book was just too long. I love the cover and I'm so disappointed that I didn't love it. I'm just so upset about it, but I will probably be picking up other books by this author. I really did enjoy the writing style and I did enjoy the worlds that he built. It was really interesting. And this book did cover for hardback, the group book. So at that, I had 2 more books that I was supposed to read. I did not end up having enough time to finish them. I kind of took a break for like 1 or 2 days of reading because I was going through a like kind of a GERD attack, and I couldn't really sit up and I couldn't really lay down. I couldn't really do anything. I was in a lot of pain. I was supposed to read Miracle Creek by Angie Kim and Misery by Stephen King. I have not read either of them yet, but I am interested in reading them. I am currently reading them both, actually. I am waiting for Miracle Creek on audiobook, Misery on audiobook. I am enjoying it. I honestly really just loved the movie. The movie was so good. I loved the movie so much. Well, I had such a good time with Thrillerathon. I'm hoping that next time I do participate in Thrillerathon that I will vlog it. I kind of just decided halfway through Thrillerathon that I was going to make a YouTube channel. I really wanted to, and I've been wanting to do it for a while, so finally I just pushed myself to do it. But I hope I kind of explain these books okay. Let me know and give me any kind of feedback or advice on how to do it better. For me, right at the end, I did end up having the, it was Professor Scarlet in the study with the dagger, and that's who ended up doing, like, who did it for Cluedo. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!